Well, new comic book day is coming up again. So let's take a look at what's on my pull list. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the pull list. It's my weekly video where I go over the books coming out this week. I'll tell you what's on my pull list, what's on my chopping block, and what's on the maybe list I'll be making a game day decision on, or books that I'll be skipping entirely. Now, this week, of course, there's a lot of great comics coming out. Over 70 issues coming out this week. And we're going to talk about the ones that I am most excited for, starting with, from Marvel Comics, Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 8. Now, Miles Morales Spider-Man, written by Cody Ziegler, art by Federico Vincentini, colors by Brian Valenza, it's gotta be top 2 series coming out. Superhero comics, the story, the art, the colors, all of it, the whole package together, probably my favorite reading experience right now. It's just, every issue tops the last. We are finally out of the Carnage Reigns event. I decided to skip all the Carnage Reigns tie-in issues, so I was a little lost during that event. But hey, we're done fighting Carnage, and now we've got a brand new story arc that's only going to be in this book, and it is Miles Morales versus Hobgoblin. By the way, this cover is an awesome homage to Amazing Spider-Man issue 238, with the Hobgoblin ripping up Peter Parker's costume. Anyway, I'm excited to get a new story arc and get back to what I love about this series, and it was just fast-paced, high-stakes action. Love it, without having to tie into a million other books. Shout out to you, Marvel. But yeah, this book's going to have a cover price of $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A, which is, like I said, that awesome homage cover, but somebody was mad in the comments that I always get cover A. I do have a weird thing about like not breaking cover runs, but so like if I get a variant, usually it's like in addition to the cover A. And this time around, I really like the 1:25 ratio variant by Miko Suiyan. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Suiyan. The more I say it, the less confident I get. But yeah, that 1:25 is awesome. And because my pull list is a little bit lighter this week, I might end up getting it if the price is right. But anyway, let's move on to the rest of the Marvel Comics on my pull list, starting with the other Spider-Man book that's out. Whatever. This is the Amazing Spider-Man issue 29. Now, ever since the death of that character that I won't spoil in case you haven't read it in the last month, ever since the death of that character, I've kind of been like, that was anticlimactic. But what they've been drawing me in with, this written by Zeb Wells, and this issue with art by Ed McGuinness, has been the Ed McGuinness artwork. The Ed McGuinness artwork mixed with the fact that there's Dr. Octopus. Couldn't decide if I wanted to say Dr. Octopus or Doc Ock. Either way, Doc Ock as a main antagonist, Ed McGuinness on the art. That just makes for a good time, a fun book to look at. Someone on League of Comic Geeks says this run is prime example of sunk cost fallacy, which just means, you put so much time, effort, money into something, you're like, well, if I stop now, everything I paid will be worthless. Maybe it'll get better and I can become profitable. I don't know if that's happening with this run, but hey, I can at least enjoy some Ed McGuinness art. Cover price on this one, $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the next book on the Marvel pull list is Immortal XMen issue 13. Now, I've kind of been down on a lot of the X titles ever since the whole, what was that event? Sins of Sinister. But hey, whatever. We're back. We are speeding toward the fall of X, and all of a sudden, every book feels just that much more interesting. In this one, Cypher's got something to say in my Andre 3000 voice. Anyway, so first of all, this Mark Brooks cover is amazing, and that's reason enough to get Immortal X-Men, but I've really been enjoying the relationship between Doug and Krakoa from, all the early days of House and Powers. So hopefully this is a good issue that raises the stakes a bit, just like pretty much everything else has been since we're speeding toward the fall of X. This one's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the last book on the Marvel pull list this week is X-Force, issue number 42. Now, I can't even lie. When I see the number 42 it just reminds me, one, of Jackie Robinson, then of Chadwick Boseman, and then the fact that I've been reading these X books for a long time. It's probably another example of sunk cost fallacy. I like that everything is kind of coming back around, though. I do like that all the titles are a little bit more exciting than they had been in the last 8 months or so. I don't know. Since Kieran Gillen took over for Immortal, and really since Hickman left with Inferno, things have just been like kind of up and down, but mostly down or mostly pedestrian. I like that things are picking up a lot. But anyway, X-Force, written by Ben Percy. I don't know who's on art. It had been Juan Jose Rip for quite a bit, so maybe he's on art this time. But anyway, apparently Nimrod is up 10 points in the fourth quarter, and we got Beast to thank for that. So we'll see how the X-Force kind of rises to the new challenge. As you can tell, I'm an issue behind on X-Force. I don't know what Quentin Quire did last issue. I don't know what the result of that was and why Nimrod is up 10 points in the fourth quarter. But hey, it's going to make for exciting stuff as the battle between mutant kind, the Krakoa mutants, and Orcus rages on. So Fall of X still very much on the table, and I'm excited about that coming up this fall. X-Force issue 42's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And that's the last book on my Marvel Comics pull list. Sticking to the list, those will cost me $16 this week, outside of that Miles Morales variant, if I'm able to get it. Now let's move on over to DC Comics, which kind of lost a lot of my business this summer, but hey, no worries. Superman Lost, issue number 5 is out this week from DC Comics, written by Christopher Priest. Gosh, I should start writing down the artists. Let's just look. Let's see who's on art this week. Carlo Puglian. The more I say it, the less confident I become. Anyway, Superman Lost, the series about Superman dealing with trauma after basically being stuck in a black hole or lost in space for 20 years, even though pretty much no time passed for Lois and everyone else on Earth since his disappearance. So, yeah, it's been a very interesting series. We've been seeing, in flashbacks, what all Superman went through when he was gone. And then we're coming back, to present day and finding how difficult it is for him to deal with everything that he saw. In this issue, we're going to see him try to return to his job at the Daily Planet. And we'll see just how that works for him and just how lost and, just dejected he looks. And I don't know, man. It's been an interesting series to me. Really enjoying it. Superman Lost, issue number 5's got a cover price of $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A, and that's the only book on my DC pull list, thanks to Night Terrors. So my DC books will cost me $5 this week. Now, let's skip on over to the indies, where the first book on the list is actually a contender for the chopping block, and that is Astrobots, issue number 3. So, full disclosure, I did not read Astrobots number 2. I did, though, read Astrobots issue number 1 from Whatnot Publishing. Astrobots is written by Simon Furman with art by Hector Trunick. Both of those names, if they sound familiar to you, are because they have worked on the original Transformers properties. So the Astrobots were a whole different toy line that apparently were not necessarily inspired by Transformers, but these people, Whatnot has hired these people who are super familiar with making the Transformers great again, with making the Transformers popular, and trying to see if they can add some magic to the Astrobots line. Issue 1 to me looked good. The story was a little dense. It just didn't hook me. I didn't really care about it by the end of issue 1, outside of the fact that the little forward or afterward or whatever was trying to hype up all the things that are coming out, including new toys and things like that. This book just feels like a cash grab for speculators. And if I'm honest, that's kind of what all of Whatnot feels like most of the time. So for that reason, this book's on the chopping block, and I'm going to save $3.99 by not buying this issue. Now, let's talk about the 2 books I am buying on the indie side, starting with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 141. Yeah, I know. I feel like this was last week when I told you guys that I was going to drop Ninja Turtles after Armageddon Game was over. Well, Armageddon Game has officially ended. And yeah, now Sophie Campbell is restarting her run with issue 141. And this honestly should be the time to jump off. Like, if you were not enjoying Ninja Turtles before Armageddon Game, then it's probably not much reason for you to want to read it now, just based on everything we got between issues 100 and 125 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But hey, here we are. Here we are. And the reason this book is still on my pull list is because that cover is amazing. That cover A with Raphael in the mugshot. If I'm honest, if that was Michelangelo, I probably wouldn't have bought the issue. I'd probably be like, no, cut me off right here. I'm done. End my tab. But Raph is my favorite turtle. So cover price on this one, $3.99. I'm getting cover A. And the last book on the indie pull list and my pull list overall is mostly a maybe list book. I can't even lie. I'm not quite sold on this. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Annual for 2023. I don't know who's writing or drawing on this one. Let's look it up. All right, so it's written by Michael Walsh, art by Vlad Legostev. This appears to be a completely different story, not tied into anything. So if you're not grabbing Ninja Turtles, if you don't want to go down the Sophie Campbell rabbit hole, this is probably a good single issue to buy. But basically, the brothers are going to be fighting some evil threat from the future, is what the solicitation says. Honestly, this is a big maybe because the cover price on it is $7, and I really don't need more turtles in my life. I just bought the Batman TMNT Omnibus, so I can go back and read that if I want it. Just gotta have turtles. If I'm honest, the reason this is like on my list is because that cover is just great. Every time they homage TMNT #1, I'm the sucker that buys it. So I can pretend I'm not gonna buy it, but I should probably just account for it in my budget. That one's got a cover price of $6.99. If I buy it, I'm grabbing cover A. And that's the last book on the pull list. So because I dropped Astrobots, my grand total for the indies is just $11, which brings my tab up for the week to $32. Just $32. I'm $18 under budget. If I don't buy the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles annual, then my total is like, what's that? $25? That's not bad at all. DC is saving me so much money, so I don't even feel bad keeping books on the list that clearly shouldn't be there. But who knows? If that price is right for the Miles Morales 1 in 25, I might just have to say see ya to the TMNT Annual just to keep the numbers low. Now, books that you might want to be on the lookout for. Since I got all this extra room on the pull list, I'll tell you about a bunch of stuff that looks interesting and fill up some more time. So Moon Knight issue number 25 out this week. It's like an extra sized, celebration issue. I don't know why they like to call every 25th issue a milestone. I guess it's a milestone. But anyway, extra size celebration. I jumped off the Moon Knight bandwagon way back. It was a great book written by Jed McKay, art by Alessandro Capuccio. It was great. I just didn't feel like I needed to keep up with it month to month, which means I fell off of it completely. But if you're like me and you fell off, issue 25 is probably a good time to jump back in. The only thing that would keep me from jumping back in is that $9.99 price tag. Also out this week, if you want some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that doesn't have 140 issues of backstory for you to catch up on, you can check out the TMNT Stranger Things issue number 1. We've had TMNT Batman. We've had TMNT times Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We've had, what was the other crossover? TMNT Street Fighter. That's out right now. And now we've got TMNT Stranger Things. Listen, I don't know a ton about Stranger Things. I never watched it. My wife loved it. I didn't watch it. And so for that reason, I'm probably not going to appreciate the Stranger Things crossover with TMNT, no matter how much I love those Ninja Turtles. So But that one's got a cover price of $3.99 if you're interested. Cover A looks pretty cool. And the other book that I'd be on the lookout for, another new series debut, is Gargoyles, Dark Ages, issue number 1. Greg Weisman has been super excited about expanding the Gargoyles universe. And with his current Gargoyles Dynamite comic series, he's kind of adding on to the end of the story, like picking up where the TV show left off. This is adding something new. This is giving us a prequel to the TV show, giving us more insight into how the gargoyles and the humans lived amongst each other without betraying each other, and I don't know where the drama and tension came from, should we say. Demona's in it, so there's that. It seems interesting. If you're a Gargoyles fan, I feel like it's a must-have. Because I'm not a big Gargoyles fan, I'm kind of on the fence. But that cover A looks really cool, though. And that one has a cover price, I think it's, $4.99. So $5 for that issue number 1. So those are all the books that I'm grabbing and books that I think you should be on the lookout for if you're just an excited comics fan this week. And if you hadn't been considering them, hey, there you go. Let me know what's on your pull list, though. By the way, huge thanks to the channel family for making this video possible and every video on the channel. You guys are the real MVPs. We got a lot of changes coming up on the channel, and the channel family is the first to know about it. So if you are interested in supporting the channel with a small monthly donation, then you can click the join button down below. The perks will include, again, advance notice on some of the changes coming to the channel, as well as early access to some of our long form content. I've been working on video essays and really cool stuff. And people that were members of our channel get first access 48 hours before you do. So consider joining. I'll see you guys in another video soon. Until then, I don't really know what you're reading, but hopefully it's something dope. Peace.